So now it is my personal pleasure to call up for another return, we think this is 11th, to this microphone to talk to us about the Boys and Girls Club, the unusual achiever, my good and very big-hearted friend, Kevin Deary.
Good morning. This is my band of white. So as Eric gets ready, I brought some videos. We're going to start with a video.
When I'm here, I know I don't have to worry about anything. I have people watching out for me. I have people watching out for everybody. I never knew that I could be so interested in many different things.
Like the stuff we do with Miss Natalie, like Play-Doh and Blue Black.
I think I learned about myself is that I am very playful. I'm not just another one of the members here. Everybody stands out in their own way. You guys make everybody shine. I love the Boys and Girls Club.
This is the best place ever.
I love that video. That video particularly that we shot it in the Napanee Club, but really it speaks to what we do in all of our Boys and Girls Clubs. This is what happens every single day. So to inspire and empower all our children, especially those who need us the most, to reach the full potential and becoming productive, responsible, and caring citizens. And we're going to end at the end of my conclusion and my remarks with another video that talks about bringing people, enticing people to come to a career of Boys and Girls Clubs of social work, or even just community leadership, because it is very, very important. Many, we weren't born into nonprofit leadership. A lot of people think we were. We actually came to the mission, many of us from all walks of life, because we felt called. It was our mission, it was our ministry, and for many of us, this was our calling and our purpose for our life. First of all, I think this is the 10th or 11th time I've spoken to this esteemed group. It was one of the first public speaking opportunities I had in 1994. Back then I had a funny accent, being from South Boston. It's not bad, it's still there, especially when I say Indiana or Hod. So there are certain words, Paktika, I still say all that good stuff. But it's been my honor. This is my home. And I've been here now 28 years now. When I came, one of the first people I met was Judge Rickoff. Jim took the time from his busy time I wanted to learn about juvenile delinquents. I wanted to learn about what was ELKR County's challenges with kids. I had come from the East Coast. I myself am an urban young man, which means I still have never touched a cow, pig, or horse. Unless it crosses my plate, I'm not touching it. So, not that I eat horse, because I don't. But it just tells you that I am. That's not my background. But Jim was kind enough to take time to kind of talk about the county. He knew I was from Goshen. Back then, we only had one Goshen club, and he was very patient with this 32-year-old wants to save the world young person who somehow ended up being the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Goshen. So when I started, they were actually boys clubs. We didn't change to become Boys and Girls Clubs until 1989. How sad is that we didn't recognize girls until 1989? I started my career in 1983 when it was only just boys clubs. So first thing I want to do, I want to thank Anthony for pointing out the fact that I have 117 board members. I have several that are here today. If you could stand up, Kathy, Jeff, Doug, Who else is, any of my board members here? Give them a round of applause. Oh, and Dawn in the back. Hi, Dawn. It's because of these fine people. We have boards in Goshen, Napanee, Middlebury, Elkhart, the county, and then we also have our foundation board. So it's hard enough working with one board. Working with 6 boards is much like running being a beehive and running 6 beehives. So very grateful, because we wouldn't be where we are without board members. So thank you for your time and your service and your patience with somebody like me. I see all my colleagues here. I forgot how many of my colleagues are here. It is so good to see all of you. I have the utmost respect for what you do every single day, because we have the same fears, the same joys, the same pains. We went through COVID together. We went through everything together, and we're still going through it together. And I cannot tell you how much I greatly admire and respect my colleagues in this county. The closeness of the nonprofits here is unbelievable. I mean, I don't see this in too many other places. Maybe, Bill, you see it in Crossroads, maybe because as you're starting to gel with the other counties, but I don't see that with any other counties. Even as my work around takes me around the whole state of Indiana, I don't see this level of closeness of trust. So it is indeed a pleasure to see all of you and to thank you. Do you know our Boys and Girls Club in Elkhart, which is our newest operation, is 13 years old now. 13 years. I made the announcement here that in Elkhart Rotary that we would be starting a Boys and Girls Club in Elkhart. Mark Bow and Curtis Hill were the 2 godfathers that helped us get this started. Curtis was tired of locking up kids. Mark was tired of seeing kids fail and struggle with families, and wanted to have just yet another outreach that we could possibly save more kids and help direct them to a positive life. That was 13 years ago. We opened up our club in 2017 at Beardsley, our brand new Boys and Girls Club, after working with Beardsley and with Oslo and Northside Middle School. We condensed them into now the Brian and Janelle Boys and Girls Club over on attached to Beardsley. I think in the future, there will be another Boys and Girls Club, probably on the far west side. It's in our strategic plan to build a teen center where the current Elkhart High School is right now. You see this big turn towards workforce development, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I don't want to put my notes on this computer, Eric. I'm afraid I may just mess everything up. If you play it flat, it's good. Okay, I'm going to trust you. Okay. So let me talk a little bit about, I've written my notes to be past, present, and future. So let's talk, we talked a little bit about, we opened our doors in 2009 and how fast we're growing. So we have about 450 members of the Boys and Girls Club of Elkhart. We have recently gone over to the new Freshman Academy, thanks to our partnership with Elkhart Community Schools. And we opened up a freshman outreach because there's 1,000 freshmen in that school. We're so grateful that we can have a partnership with Elkhart Community Schools that allows us to do this. We have a future, like I said, to build a club, a teen center. We'll do that in partnership with the schools as we move kids towards workforce development, which is such not only a buzzword, but it's important. If you've tried to find a mechanic or an electrician or a plumber or somebody who understands automotive, it's hard to find those skilled labor people, but it's so important that we help our kids find those tracks. I serve on the board of directors of Ivy Tech. I really believe in the mission of Ivy Tech and the ability to be able to help build this next level of skilled labor for us. There are so many people who go to Ivy Tech because they're trying to move from one industry to another, and they're getting the necessary skills to be able to move into the industry that we need in the future. So let's talk a little bit about the past again. Let's talk about COVID. I didn't want to talk about COVID, but I have to. COVID, when it hit in 2019, it took our company, the Boys and Girls Club, and cut us in half. We had 144 employees. Within 2 days, we shrunk to 72 within 2 days. Most of our money is fundraised, hard work money, as far as tithing, annual campaigns, and special events. So we had no idea how long this was going to last. We had to close our clubs. It was painful. We paid our staff for probably a month to stay home because we thought this would blow over, and it didn't. And then we could not continue to make that happen. So we ended up reopening. We closed the club in March. We opened up in June. When we opened up in June, we were one of the first Boys and Girls Clubs to reopen. We specifically targeted nurses, children, doctors, kids, firefighters, first responders, because at that early time of COVID, a lot of people thought that children were infected. So nobody wanted to take care of the kids. Yet we needed these nurses and doctors and EMTs on the front lines to help us with this incredible disease virus that was flowing through our country. So we opened back up, and we specifically targeted Goshen and ELKR hospitals to bring us you're not only your nurses' kids, but your people who work in the maintenance, people who work in the kitchens. We wanted to make sure that we opened up the doors and we took the children in. Keep in mind, this was 7 months before there was any vaccinations. So this was a big leap of faith that our board of directors and our staff took to make sure that we could open up. I want to specifically thank the Community Foundation and the United Way for how they responded to particularly the nonprofits with COVID. Their immediate funding for us to, first of all, we had never heard of Zoom. Remember that? We had never heard of PPEs, and then pretty known there was PPPs, and there was all sorts of acronyms. We had no idea. And the United Way and the Community Foundation responded immediately with us, immediately. If we didn't have Zoom, they taught us and got us on Zooms. If none of us had any direction of where we were going, we were all figuring it out, getting our information from the news like you were. But it was the local response that allowed us to be able to open up early. So a special thank you to the Community Foundation and the United Way for never forget, when we needed them the most, they were there. And always will be. So very grateful for that time period. It allowed us to be able to practice our mission during emergency times. You don't really know the value of a nonprofit until an emergency hits, because many of us are the underbelly of the for-profit world. We catch all the ones, the families, the kids. We catch everybody that falls into our net. It's our job to feed them, to house them, to make sure they have their medicine, to make sure that they have grief counseling, to make sure they have mental health, to make sure that kids have a safe place before and after school. That is what the nonprofits do. And many times we're dismissed as not important, but we're a critical part, as much as churches are, to this netting that catches those who need us the most. It's a critical part of our community. So we battled through COVID. I have to tell you that I'm so proud of my staff who worked so hard, and our board members who, along with their own companies and along with their own families, were trying to navigate through COVID, but yet they made sure that all our clubs were open and functioning, and that our staff had the supplies that they needed. I tell you what, I think we clean a lot, but nothing like COVID. Never seen anything like it. Our staff were cleaning constantly, temperature taking, cleaning. Do you remember you couldn't enter a building unless somebody took your temperature? You had to log in, log out. It was an incredible time for us. Something we'll tell our children and grandchildren. So we came through it. The schools, working with the schools, virtual education, we had never heard of it. Schools had to turn on a dime, and teachers suddenly were thrust into learning how to teach online. And how do you teach kindergarten kids online? how do you do that? So, but somehow our schools had to do that. And then moms and dads who were working had to figure out how to take care of their kids. And some of them may have been working at home, but they had to figure out they had to learn technology. And when you are a person who doesn't have a high level of education, and I have a high level of education, and I still need help with Zoom, you have to suddenly not only keep up with your children's work, but you have to figure out how they can send papers and how can they can interact. And the teachers have 7 classes a day. How they did that on a dime is beyond me. But we at the Boys and Girls Club, we opened up and made sure that we helped fill the gap as best as we could, because many of our families still do not have technology at home. Actually, they may have technology, but they don't have broadband. They can't access the internet. So with us, they could. So that was very important as we came through that. It also cut our numbers drastically. And now if you flash forward to today in the present, we are rebuilding all of our clubs. Our total membership, average daily attendance, particularly our teens got scattered. You know, we talk a lot about mental health and mental health with kids. I doubt if I asked you to raise your hand, and I'm not, but every one of us have struggled somewhere with confidence, with anxiety, with fear. Many of us have struggled with, at least for a short period, or you know somebody or live with somebody who struggles with some mental health. Mental health is not a stigma of negativity, it is just a fact. And it is no difference than any other physical illness, but sometimes being able to talk to somebody to get your head straight makes a huge difference. What happens when you're 14 and 15 years old? But when you're 11 and 12 and you're going through puberty, your body is changing and nothing around you is the same. We forget how important routine is to our life. When kids didn't have a chance to go to school, it threw them into disarray. Now, I will tell you that many of them cheered. My grandchildren cheered, thought it was wonderful that they didn't have to go to school, but they quickly realized how much they missed their friends and how much they missed routine. And many of our children had to grow up faster than they really wanted to. And that has left an educational gap and also a mental health gap with many of our kids. And by the way, this goes across the board for African American to Latino to white to boy to girl to Mennonite to non-Mennonite. We have all felt this. So we're all rebuilding. We're all moving past where we were. Thank God that we have smart people that can figure out vaccinations and figure out the best way to help us navigate this. There were no easy answers, and particularly there were no easy answers with children. I remember the most difficult question I had talking with some of our kids was they asked why, and I couldn't answer that. So now we're going to flash forward to the future. Workforce development, making sure that we have a place for our kids in our workforce, to stop pushing kids to four-year schools that aren't ready. And I'm just as guilty as that, because I didn't go to school till late in life. Therefore, I thought, well, if I had gone to school earlier, maybe I would have had, maybe it would have been different for me. Well, I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out with me. I think it's funny, Jim said that I'm holding degrees. I am, I'm just holding it for somebody else. But what a privilege it is to go to school and to be able to graduate from institutions of higher knowledge. We're trying to close the gap, educational gap. We're a long way from that. That year and a half where our kids were out of school or in virtual world, they're behind. And it's no fault of anything other than being behind. I'm sure when the Spanish flu was here in 1918, they had the same issues. When World War I, World War II, kids, there was an educational gap. For us, one of the most important things is unity. We don't practice diversity. We just don't. We believe in unity every day. I've been here 28 years, and our African American children, our Asian children, our Latino children, our white children only know unity. That's what we practice. They're always amazed when they see all the differences in the world. and yet inside of our clubs, they are safe, loved, and respected. In the future, we're hoping to expand Boys and Girls Clubs around the county, particularly, maybe working with Jimtown, working with ELKR on the far west side. We are very excited about our future. I'm very grateful to the folks that helped us get here today. And I see my friend, Dr. Tom over there. He was another one who helped us. Dr. Neat, thank you very much for the things you did. I remember my first meeting in Oslo, and you stood right next to me with those parents, and you took some heat with me, and I'll never forget that. So thank you, Dr. Neat. And that was to start a club in Oslo. Let me just say that I will be retiring in December, and there'll be a new CEO to lead this organization, and our board members have started that search process. So it has been a pleasure and an honor. I'm retiring after 39 years of Boys and Girls Club work. I have been blessed. I just want to say thank you to ELKR Rotary for all you have done for our children. The children are still coming, so continue to take care of the children. Thank you. Let me take some questions. No questions. I love that. I love that. Okay, thank you. Oh, hold on. Anthony, I should have known.
What do you see as a way to be engaging kids moving forward? I mean, for one thing, the major thing, the world has changed, and you have a smartphone. And how do you still continue to engage?
Well, I'll tell you what it is, Anthony. The answer to that is it's still a people business. So this last video answers that question. It is about people adults making differences with children. And this last video is a short one, but it tells you why maybe you should think about a career change and come work at a nonprofit.
The reason I come to the Boys and Girls Club is to be with you.
You are the youth development professional. Doesn't that sound important?
This is a really big title. It has to be important.
You are important.
You are more than just a staff at Boys and Girls Club.
At the club, you play so many roles.
A coach,
A teacher.
A party planner!
And so many more.
And the most important role you play is a mentor. My mentor.
You're with kids.
pretty amazing kid.
Me being most amazing, of course.
Take this opportunity to make a positive impact to my life.
Be someone I can count on. Be someone who can inspire me.
Help me believe in myself. You have what it takes.
Take an interest in me.
Did I mention how amazing I am?
I'm so talented, clever, and creative.
I may not have realized my full potential.
Get to know me, my dreams and goals, and you share yours with me.
You know, you're pretty amazing yourself.
Sometimes I just need someone to notice me.
Notice when I'm having a bad day.
Tell me I'm doing a good job or I look good in my new shirt.
Listen to how I'm feeling.
Let me know you care.
Tell me everything's gonna be okay.
Be patient. Do you remember when you were a kid? You didn't have everything figured out. I don't either.
I'm gonna make mistakes. Forgive me. Help me out.
I need your understanding.
Don't take my frustrations hard. Sometimes it's easier to push you away than getting let down. I need to know you'll be there and you won't give up on me.
Let's laugh, play, and have fun.
Why don't you be silly with me like this?
This is a challenging job, but I know you're the best person for it. I would have chosen you if I didn't know your potential.
You have the power to make a difference.
You were born to do something great.
Any other questions?
It's not a question.
Okay.
I want to say thank you. For me, and I expect many others here, had no idea what Boys and Girls Club, what you were doing behind the scenes in this pandemic to allow our nurses, our doctors, our EMTs, our maintenance men and women to be able to go to the and save how many, and I don't know how many lives you saved, but it was hundreds, if not thousands and more. That was made possible in a large measure for what Boys and Girls Clubs did behind the scenes, and for me and from others who had no idea this was going on. A heartfelt thank you.
Kevin, thank you. And I'm telling you, man, you guys are stepping up the marketing videos. those are good. I'm gonna go back and take some pictures of flowers. And they are nowhere near as cute or charming as those kids are. I gotta work on that. Eric Ames, we gotta figure something out. We got any talking plants back there? We gotta work on those. Sure, you have a question or a comment?
Kevin, first of all, thank you very much for your service. It's remarkable and greatly appreciated. Do you track the young people that come through your program? Do you know and do you have a log of history of the young people? In other words, if you have a youngster coming in at the age of 60 or 16 or 6, you follow them, you know where they are when they get to young adults.
So we do have an alumni Facebook page. Social media has allowed us to stay. That's made it a lot easier. Sometimes our kids leave, but most of our Boys and Girls Club kids stay in this town. They're not brain drained. They stay here. And I have been here long enough to see the children of my club children coming to the club now. So we stay very connected through our alumni page and also through our alumni program. But we also know when you go back to see your favorite teacher and you say, thank you for saving my life, our staff did that all the time when they bump into them at Kroger's or Martin's, that they see these staff members and they just
Got to cut it off, Andy.
Yeah,
So I don't know what happened there. We dropped bandwidth.
I saw it drop, and not much we could do.
Okay, talk to you later.
Thank you.